Governor Walker says it was a team effort to close the deal with Foxconn, and it started with building a relationship with the company's chairman, Terry Go.
It was a great team effort. I look at Mark Hogan, Scott Neitzel, Rich Zipper, my team from Wisconsin, all the folks there, the M7, Racine and Kenosha County area. But even, I mean, Paul Ryan stepped up big time. The fact that you have the Speaker of the House of Representatives calling out to the chairman early on, met for dinner. Jim Sensenbrenner, not even in his district, but Jim, for a while, they have some operations in Japan. He helped reach out on that. Both Democrat and Republican members of the House and both of our U.S. senators reaching out, our legislative leadership coming in for the meetings and discussions. It really was an extraordinary team effort. And the interesting thing is we started out thinking it was going to be a smaller number. They're announcing today what's happening in Wisconsin, but there may very well be at least one other state that's going to get a part of what they're looking to do going forward. But our options grew. They didn't collapse. We thought it was a smaller number to begin with, which is why we had a smaller package of incentives prepared on the table. As we met with Terry and his team, we saw their interest, we saw the connections, not just on business, but I mean, this is a guy, we don't know a lot about him. They may read the headlines. Terry Go, the chairman there, lost his wife years ago to breast cancer, lost his brother 2 years later to leukemia. He's since remarried and has had additional children since. But when we brought him to Wisconsin and he went to, we took him over to the Allen Bradley Tower, Rockwell Automation. They're very interested in doing business with them. We took him to the Bucks. We gave Terry a Bucks jersey when we saw him overseas. He loves sports. A beer and a brat. Well, we didn't do. We had them over for dinner, and we had brats and beer and burgers over at the residence. We took him to GE Healthcare, and not only are they interested in doing business, but what was particularly interesting to me is he is building in his home country, Taiwan, one of the largest in his country, about $1 billion investment in a new healthcare complex there, in tribute to fighting the disease that took his first wife from him. And so people don't get to see these things. They don't get to understand what's in his heart. And it's interesting to see part of the reason why he chose Wisconsin was for him, and I think coming out of his culture, they want to have a bond, not just for a deal, but a bond for life. They want to have a partnership. I grew up down the road from Walworth, where the very first Japanese investment was made in a company called Kiekelman more than 4 decades ago. I saw how that culture interacted with the small town area I grew up in Walworth County. To me, that's what I see happening here, is that the culture of work ethic that we have in Wisconsin melding very well with Foxconn and becoming that kind of lasting legacy.
So a busy week from Washington to Wisconsin, a lot happening, but the big question now is what's next? A memorandum of understanding signed Friday by Foxconn, and the state calls for finalizing terms of the agreement no later than September 30th. That includes holding a special session as well of the legislature to approve a $3 billion incentive package. That could be in August. And then there's the final site that still needs to be selected. So far, all indications are that Racine and Kenosha counties are on the finalist list. An opening is now tentatively scheduled for 2020. Work is already beginning on preparing the state's workforce for the thousands of higher skilled jobs that Foxconn and that facility will require. Well, we want to say thanks for joining us today.